Hi guys, I'm Aminuddin and I'm going to start talking the introduction to the high performance liquid chromatography or also known as HPLC. So, HPLC is a technique in analytical chemistry used to separate, identify and quantify each component in a mixture. As well as other form of chromatography, in HPLC there is a mobile phase which can be water-based solvent, organic solvent or a mixture of the two forced by a pump to pass through the system. And there is stationary phase which is a column with chromatographic packing material. For the principles of HPLC, to begin with, the mobile phase is usually capped in the solvent reservoir. The solvent reservoir is attached with the pump which pumps the mobile phase in the column with a high pressure. Just before HPLC column, there's an injector which allows introduction of the sample in the column. In order to detect the sample coming out of the column, the HPLC column is attached with a detector. Different types of detectors such as UV detector, IR detector, fluorescent detector and etc. can be used. The detector is connected with the computer which collects the information. From the detector, a peak is obtained on the computer. This peak is plotted with respect to the retention time. Okay, so the objective of the study is to differentiate the linearity of the sample along with value of LOD, limit of detection, and LOQ, limit of quantitation analyzed by HPLC method. Next is to determine the precision of samples and their recovery rate, and lastly to distinguish the selectivity of the sample. The significance of HPLC method is it is a rapid and precise quantitative analysis with an automated operation that has high sensitive detection. Lastly, the limitation of HPLC method is that there are no universal detector. A universal detector is a detector that can detect all type of compound and give uniform response. HPLC method also has less separation efficiency than gas chromatography. HPLC is relatively more difficult for novices, so substantial experience and scientific judgment are needed to develop a new method, interpret a strange result or troubleshoot a problem.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Alif Iqbal. Let's proceed for HPLC method. HPLC is chromatographic method that is used to separate a mixture of compounds in analytical chemistry to identify, quantify, or purify the individual component of the mixture. This is how HPLC looks like. The solvent at the left of the diagram, or we call it as mobile phase, will go into the pump and the pump will push the mobile phase include an entire system. Next is injector, where we inject our sample. HPLC column, where the separation occurs. The detector will produce a signal or fix it. The spectral data and retention time produced by the detector is used as the identification to independence of sample. This is from 4 articles that we have studied. For the first article, the sample was obtained from co-formulate tablet. The mobile phase consists of methanol, 0.05 sodium dihydrogen phosphate, and the pH was at 2.5. For the second article, the vitamin C is obtained from fruit and juice, which is apple, orange, lemon, and grape. The mobile phase consists of 0.01 mole KH2 and PO4. The pH was at 2.6. For the third article, the vitamin C is obtained from fruit such as strawberries, tomatoes, and apples. 500 micrometer stainless steel column used as stationary phase. Mobile phase consists of 0.01 solutions of sulfuric acid at 2.6 pH. For the fourth article, the vitamin C in food samples such as juice, fruit, and vegetable. The mobile phase consists of orthophosphoric acid at 2.8 pH. For the detector, for the second article and fourth article, it is used diode array detector. Meanwhile, for the first article, it is used UV detector that was set at 220 nanometer. Meanwhile, in the article, it used 486 absorbance detector.
Results and data. The result obtained for the determination of vitamin C from 4 different articles using high performance liquid chromatography HPLC. The first article is the simultaneous determination of ascorbic acid in co-formulated tablet, and the second article is the simultaneous determination of main organic acid in fruit and juice. The third article is the determination of vitamin C in fruits, and lastly is the determination of total vitamin C in food. There are 5 variables that will be discussed in this result in the determination of vitamin C using HPLC. First is the linearity, second is the LOD and LOQ value, and third is the precision of the method, and fourth is the recovery rate of the sample, and last is the selectivity of the sample. For the linearity, for all 4 samples, linearity is quite same, where the first article is 0.9999 and second article is 0.9998, and third articles in the range of 0.9936 to 0.9987, and the last article is 0.9999, same as article 1. As for the LOD and LOQ value, it is as shown. For the first article is 0.8, and for the LOQ value is 2.4. For the second article is 0.03 and LOQ value as 0.1, and the third article is in the range of 0.1 and 0.18, and for the LOQ value is 0.34 and 0.61, and the fourth article is 0.82 and 2.46. Next is the third variables, which is precision in terms of RSD value. For the first article, is the RSD value is 1.43%. For the second article is in a range of 1.67 to 2.04%, and the third article is 0.6% to 3.9%, and the last article is about 1.29 to 4.48%. Also, for the fourth variable, which is a recovery rate, for the recovery rate of vitamin C in the first article is 97.45% to 98.88%, and for the second article is from 95% to 100%, and for the third article is 93.6% to 104 and 4%, and last article is about 94.4 to 103.5%. The last variables is the selectivity of the sample. For the first article, the selectivity is 3 to 7 microgram per milliliter. As for the second article is 33 milligram per 100 ml, and for the third article is 5 milligram over 100 gram, and the last article which is 25 to 26 microgram per milliliter.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Akmal. I will explain about the discussion for article 1 and 3 for linearity. Linearity is a linear relationship between analog signal and analog concentration sample. It's important to ensure sensitivity of the analysis. Based on the data for article 1 and article 3, there is have a same linearity which is 0.9999 and has a higher sensitivity. Limit of detection and limit of quantitation. LOD is the smallest amount of or concentration of the analyte in the test sample that can be reliably distinguished from zero. LOQ is the lowest concentration of the analyte that can be determined with an acceptable repeatability and trueness. Article 1 and Article 3 has a similar LOD and LOQ. Relative standard deviation or RSD. It can be determined the precision of experiment. The smaller the RSD value, the more precious the measurement. RSD value Article 1 is lower than Article 3. Recovery rate. Recovery rate is important to ensure the amount of the vitamin C recovered after the reaction is complete. The recovery rate is excellent if the value is above 90%. Article 1 is a lower recovery rate than Article 3, but both of these articles have a 90% above value, so it is the excellent value recovery rate. Selectivity. Selectivity is a measure of the ability of the chromatographic system to distinguish between sample components. The higher the selectivity, the larger separation between two compounds. Article 3 is the most separation compared to Article 1.
Hi, I'm Muhammad Adinin bin Bazli. So in this part, I will talk about the discussion. In this research, the Hplc method was used to identify the amount of vitamin C in a different sample. Several data from the different articles were obtained. Based on the second article, it observed that the linearity is 0.9998. However, 0.9999 is shown in the linearity of article 4. For the limit of detection (LOD) and the limit of quantitation (LOQ), the result from the article 2 show 0.03 and 0.1 microgram per milliliter, while the article 4 shows 0.82 and 2.46 microgram per milliliter. Besides that, relative standard deviation obtained from the article 2 is 1.67 until 2.04%. In contrast, 1.29 until 4.48% is obtained from the article 4. Next, it also observed the data from Article 2 that the recovery rate is 95% until 100%. Meanwhile, in Article 4 is 94.4 until 103.5%. And finally, Article 2 shows 33 mg per 100 ml of selectivity. Besides that, it is 25 until 26 microgram per milliliter on Article 4. Based on linearity, Article 4 and 2 has a difference of 0.0001, which means that the value of both articles are almost the same. From that, the error response of analyte in the sample is almost linear in both articles with respect to its concentration. This is important to ensure the sensitivity of the analysis. This is because the greater the sensitivity, the better to differentiate the sample. Hence, the data show higher sensitivity to its linearity. From the data, Article 4 have higher LOD and LOQ value compared to Article 2. The result indicate that Article 4 need higher amount of sample concentration in the process to distinguish from zero. Therefore, Article 2 has better accuracy to determine amount of vitamin C. Next, the result from the data also show that the RSD value of Article 2 is lower than Article 4. It is important to know the value of RSD because to determine the precision of the experiment. The smaller RSD value, the more precise the measurement. Thus, Article 2 show better precision. Besides that, the recovery rate for Article 2 is lower than Article 4 based on the data. The recovery rate is important to ensure the amount of vitamin C recovered after the reaction is complete. If the recovery rate is above 90%, the efficiency is excellent. In conclusion, both articles have excellent efficiency. Lastly, according to the selectivity, the data provided show that Article 2 has higher selectivity than Article 4. The selectivity can be calculated by using this formula, alpha equal to K prime B over K prime A. If the selectivity is equal to 1, it means the compound cannot be separated. The higher the selectivity, the more separation between two compounds or peak. To conclude, Article 2 has the most separation compared to Article 4.
Overall, the research is about to analyze vitamin C using Hplc in variety of samples. All samples have undergone experiments using the same method. The linearity, quantitative value of LOD, which stands for limit of detection, and LOQ stands for limit of quantitation, the precision, value, and recovery rate of the samples is identified successfully. The vitamin C is a vital nutrition for health. It helps form and maintain bones, skin, and blood vessels. It is also an antioxidant. Vitamin C occurs naturally in some food, especially fruits and vegetables. So this diet can be practiced in order to obtain many nutrients. But do not take vitamin C based food only. Should be balanced in nutrition in daily life according to the food pyramid in order to stay healthy. That's all for the conclusion. Stay safe and stay healthy, everyone.